Well, he told me if it didn't work, my odds didn't look good. This was
So
do
you're
or
there.
die.
That's Jeff Pyle. He's my guest today on I Had Cancer.
Thank you for tuning in to the I Had Cancer podcast, produced in partnership by iHeart Radio and Allegheny Health Network, and hosted by Pittsburgh's Bonny Diver, a cancer survivor and patient advocate for over 15 years.
All right, today we are talking to a fellow cancer survivor, big man. Jeff is here and a stage 4 cancer survivor. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name's Jeff Pyle. I'm 54. I'm from Ford City, and I currently serve as the state representative for the 60th Legislative District of Armstrong, Butler, and Indiana counties.
Nice. All right. So serving the people, but you had to be taken care of for a while. You had cancer.
Yes. Well, that's when the people took care of me.
Yeah.
I was first diagnosed in February '05 with renal cell.
Which is kidney cancer.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's good. Yeah, there are different types of kidney cancer, like there are different types of breast cancer.
Absolutely.
You know? So you had renal cell. Okay.
I had renal cell, and
how'd they find that?
Well,
Or what made you say something's wrong?
You know, believe it or not, it was stomach cramps.
Okay.
And I have an iron gut. I just don't get those. But my dad had called and said, I want to take my granddaughters to Chinese, because he used to love watching them try to eat Jell-O with chopsticks. And, I went home and I had these horrible, horrible cramps. And I told the wife, I got to go get looked at.
Okay. So you went to emergency room?
Yeah, I went up to, and I'm from a little town. We all know each other. And I saw Nurse Bonny, and I said, hey, Bonny, something's wrong. And she goes, okay. And they put me through the tests, and they found it. And they removed my right kidney. And back to the field,
And that was it. So you just had surgery. It was cancer, and off you went. And you said, I can do this with one left. I'm all right.
I was lucky. I ran into a buddy of mine, Joe Cook, that had the very same thing. And the Joe Cook I knew was out there running marathons and stuff. And he came to my house, and he says, look, you're going to be all right.
Okay.
You're going to be fine, but this is what you got to do.
Okay.
When they tell you to walk, try to go an extra step further. When they tell you to eat it,
Eat certain things, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because your kidney is really important.
Oh, yeah. It's what filters all your blood.
And so you can get by with that one kidney. And so they took one out. Did they do chemo or anything like that at that time?
No,
okay.
I was lucky. The first time was purely surgical. Now, this past October of 2017, again, small things that you should pay attention to. I had an earache.
Wow.
And I took it was unlike any other earache I'd ever had, and I took myself up to the hospital, and they stuck the thing in my ear, and the guy said, I'm sending you over for a biopsy. And that's when we made the determination. I had it again. I had it bad, and we had to move quickly.
So kidney cancer that moved into your ear. So this happened pretty quickly?
Actually, it didn't move the whole way up into my ear. It migrated out of the kidney shell and located right behind my chest bone.
Okay.
In between the collarbones. And when they first measured it in there, it was in a place called the sigmoid process, which is like a empty shock absorber kind of space between your soft lung tissue and your ribs.
Okay.
Normally it's empty. Well, this cancer crawled up in there, and when they first measured it, it was 20.5 millimeters across by 10.5 thick.
So that sounds big. Now, for somebody who doesn't know their millimeters, how big is that?
It's about a hockey puck.
So you had a cancer the size of a hockey puck that had come from your kidney.
It migrated, yeah.
So your good kidney that you thought was good had something going on again?
No, it came out of the old kidney place. I mean,
that spot.
The way my doctor, and if I can, his name's Jose Silva, and Doc, if you're listening, you're a brilliant man. Thank you very much.
All right, we love brilliant men.
Doc is so cool. But
awesome.
but they started me out on some medicines at first that were not successful. And
is that like a chemo kind of a thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I dropped 40 pounds in a month.
Wow.
Yeah. I went from 228 where I normally am down to 188. And I stand 6'3". I mean, I can carry 228. But I went to Doc Silva and said, something's not working here. And he said he wanted to try something new. And I said, well, what do you mean by that? And he said, have you ever heard of immunotherapy? And I hadn't. And the guys at AHN started me on a program with Opdivo. You know, when I first started, those bags, they would hang over my shoulder.
Yeah.
Were like 5-hour bags.
Right.
And I would go to the ward, and they would, you know, plug into my arm and do that.
You didn't get a port?
No, actually,
aren't you strong?
I kept track of how many times. I actually had a PET scan this morning, Bonnie. How about that?
Good for you.
I am on number 158 without a port.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Good veins.
Kept gasoline hoses.
Yeah. All right. Nice. Okay. So they're doing the immunotherapy.
Yeah.
And
it's miraculous.
And you're here.
Yeah, hey, we're still standing.
And you look great. You don't look too skinny to me. You're not overweight. You look healthy.
I am. I think I am. I mean, the first month, 2 months was a little bit rough because I'd go in there and, you know, nobody wants to be in the chemo ward.
Right.
But I'd go in there and there'd be 10 or 12 other guys, you know, in there getting their treatment. And it's funny because the first time they hit me with the bag of that stuff at around the 2-hour mark, I fell asleep.
Yeah.
And, you know, came in and the nurse kind of wiggled me a little bit, and I woke up and there was nobody in there. It was just me.
They kind of snuck out.
Yeah, and she goes, you got about 2 hours left. Would you like a snack? And I go, yeah, I would. And she came back with this enormous cafeteria cake pan that had like one little wee bag of snack-sized Cheetos in the corner. And I said, I'll have the Cheetos. And ever since then, Opdivo and Cheetos are doing really miraculous things for me.
Well, the Cheetos would probably love to hear that, but I'm kind of, you know, turning my head and saying, I don't think so. All right,
miracles,
so miracles happen in some way or another. Come along. So immunotherapy. Immunotherapy. Can you explain that a little bit? Do you know more about it now? Obviously.
Oh I studied up on it.
It's a new thing.
Yeah, it's a very exciting new field that was only pioneered between 7 and 8 years ago by a Dr. Han Schoen and Dr. Allison, who produced the first immunodrug, Yervoy, which is commonly prescribed to kids of my persuasion with renal cell and whatnot. Over the course of time, they've refined Yervoy into other products like Opdivo, which is what I'm on now. And those 5-hour infusion sessions were so successful that now I'm into every other Friday for maintenance that lasts maybe a half hour.
And you were stage 4.
Oh, yeah. He told me I was 4.5.
That's stage 4 is a tough one to get out of, right? And so stage 4, that means it has spread, which it had. It was originally from the kidney space that you had. The original cancer decided to grow, get bigger, showed up in your chest. And stage 4 means...
You're knocking on the door.
You're knocking on the door, or you're treatable, not curable.
Yes.
Now, now let me ask you this. Are you cured?
No.
Okay, so you're treatable.
I'm very treatable. Now,
And you're functioning.
Well, the first time, like I said, when they measured that thing in my chest, it was 20.5 by 10.5. It's down to 1 by 1 now.
Wow.
And I asked the doc, why don't we just get in there and suck that thing out?
Yeah.
And then I'll know I'm cancer-free.
Yep.
But he told me that the type of cancer I have has a bad tendency. He called it a dandelion effect. And I had to say, look, you got to quit using these medical terms on it. But he's like, no, it has an unpredictability where it will pop up somewhere else. And right now we have it contained. We have it controlled.
Right. You're living with a stable boy.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we say.
About it.
Yeah. So it's a stable boy, or like I'm living with Ned, who is no evidence of disease. I always say Ned can move in. I love Ned. And you've got the stable boy living with you. So he's keeping everything contained. It's there. We know where it is. We're not letting it out.
It's not going anywhere.
Yeah. So good. So we're watching it. We're keeping an eye on you. And you're functioning. You're doing well. And how far are out? I mean, 2 years, right?
Yeah. How about it, man?
Yeah. Look at you, tough guy.
Yeah. Listen to that. I hope my wife hears this broadcast.
Okay. All right. So I'm looking. I looked up. I did some of my kidney cancer homework, and they say that the risk factor usually would be people who are smokers, overweight, work around solvents, or genetic. Any of that you?
I am overweight.
But not.
Look at me, man.
You look great.
Well, the Steelers didn't take me again this year, and this is the 32nd year in a row since I got out of college. I'm starting to lose hope.
Yeah, well, there's okay.
But no,
there's always next year, as they say.
My doctor told me it was more than likely genetic, and then I inherited it down through my dad's side of the family.
Okay.
And Dad's gone now. It did not kill him. And it ain't going to kill me either.
Obviously, I think you're tougher than that.
I think
for
I
sure.
can do it.
Yeah, I think you can. You're hilarious. All right. So symptoms are low back pain, blood in your urine, you're really tired, weight loss, and a fever. Any of that
All of the above.
Okay.
All of the above. Yeah, I remember I was coaching basketball, and I never had problems with my back, but when this thing started developing, it became about an every other week thing. I just could not figure out why I couldn't get my hips situated right, and that was actually.
And I would maybe think that would be a chiropractic issue.
I went to the chiropractor a million times, and it would last about 2 or 3 days, and then I'd feel it funny again, and I'd have to go back.
Okay, and then so there you go from there. Okay, also. Most people are over 45 when they are diagnosed. How old were you originally?
First time I was 40.
Okay, 40.
Yeah, I was 40 the first time, and I'm 54 now. I was diagnosed at 53 a second time.
Okay, and the average age for this is 64. Most common in men.
How about it?
Look at you guys. and they say 1 in 48 men would have this, 1 in 83 women would have this. And stage 4, I don't know if you did any numbers at the time, but, if you want to be a mathlete about it, but there's a very high rate of being able to get through this if it's stage 1 or 2. As we get it spreading out and going on, like you had in 2017, 12%.
Yeah.
Look at you.
I know how lucky I am. I really do. And that
would you call it luck, or do you call it something else? I mean, what helped you in your game plan? You had a fabulous doctor that you loved.
Yeah.
You had a great team.
Yeah.
They tried immunotherapy because this is new. You are stage 4. Let's go for it, right?
Well, he told me if it didn't work, my odds didn't look good. This was do or die.
There. Yeah,
literally.
Let's go for it. Okay, we're jumping off. We're going for it. All right. So do or die, and so you go for it. And your family, you have people around you. I kind of think you had a pretty good attitude. I
got 2 daughters, okay?
Yeah.
I got dancing I'm obligated to do. I got to be there for that.
All right.
That's just how I got to tell you a funny story about the first time when they told me they were going to go in and do surgical option. Of course, I sat with wife and cried forever and ever. Aww. And then told mom and dad, and they cried forever and ever. Well, the ones that were lost in the wash were my daughters, who at the time were 4 and 6.
Oh, my.
So the morning comes for me to go to Pittsburgh, and I sit them down, and I hadn't really addressed them yet about this. And
4
I said,
and 6.
Yeah, how about that? Oh, that's a tough one for a 6-year-old to...
Yeah.
But I sat them down, and I said, girls, do you know what they're going to do to your dad? Silence, nothing. So, and I automatically went into, I'm going to be all right. I'll see you guys in a couple days, blah, blah, blah. And my eldest daughter, the one that's going to Boston, looks at me and goes, I says, Lauren, are you okay with this? She goes, yeah, you got 2 kidneys, don't you, Dad? And I went, yeah, but it's going to be 1. And she goes, is it going to kill you? And I went, no. And at that moment, I was like,
that's all they cared about.
Life
or death.
Rockets,
life
man.
or death. And so you have to be alive for your daughters. And so
let's get this show started.
Yeah. And so the second time around, they're a little older.
Yeah.
And what did Lauren say this time?
I didn't really talk to her that much about it. I thought she pretty much summed it all up last time. You going to make it or not? Yes, I am.
Okay. We're still on that game plan.
Yeah. Yeah. Too dumb or too tough. We don't know which, but we're going to run with it.
Yeah. All right. So good. So you have a good team around you.
Yes.
The doctors, your attitude, your family, and you feel like you're the luckiest man alive, right?
I do.
Yeah. It's like really standing there at, this has got to be.
It's crazy because I come from an area where it's small, but we like each other as a culture. Sure. And I run into my nurses.
Oh.
who do the infusions and all of that. Like Food Truck Friday, which is every first Friday in Ford City. You got to come.
Okay.
And, I'll run into them at Food Truck Friday. And, of course, there's the Razz, and a guy that wasn't from the area saw me talking, and he goes, Pyle, how can you talk to that? I'm like, this is Southwest PA. If we're not insulting you, we don't like you. We just don't pay attention to you if we're not jabbing you, know. But
they are.
They're
but
friends.
Yeah, right.
They are, in my mind's eye, the pinnacle of professionalism and ability, and can do every single thing they have to do to me.
And you trust them, and
I do.
You know they are the people who are in the right place.
They're the greatest I've ever met.
Aw. Well, it's nice to talk to you. Congratulations on your on living with the stable boy.
Hey, once the beast tastes you, it never loses its taste. So you're always vigilant about what's going to happen. And what I got going for me is I know that staff with the AHN group up at the hospital, man. These guys are the best in the world. They're in the process. I won't say they've fixed me yet because Doc doesn't want me to get overconfident, but they're fixing
They're
well on the way.
They're on it.
They're well on the way, man.
Yeah.
They're almost time over target.
Yeah. They took care of me.
Well,
they're my pals too.
Yeah, it's funny. I did have one little spat of radiation. For some reason, they found it, of all places, my left knuckle and in my right hip. So they go, we're going to have to hit you with some radiation. I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. I told you. So
what'd you tell your doctors about radiation?
Oh, I asked him, what color's that radiation? He goes, green. And I'm like, good. That's what Dr. Bruce Banner subjected himself to.
Would that be the Incredible Hulk?
That would be the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah, or the inedible bulk is what I would like to be.
My wife has banned Hulk speak from the house. I'm not allowed to walk through and go, dinner, Pyle, hungry. No, that makes
I love
angry.
your wife. All right. What's your wife's name?
Michelle. She's sensible.
Yeah. I love Michelle. She's taking care of things. Fantastic. All right. Thanks for being here, Jeff. Appreciate
Bonnie,
your time.
I've had a great time. Call me anytime.
Okay. That's Jeff Pyle. He's my guest today on I Had Cancer. Make sure you check back again next week for another inspiring story on I Had Cancer. I'm Bonny Diver. Thanks for listening.
Tune in next week for a new episode of the I Had Cancer podcast, available on the iHeart Radio app or at ahn.org/ihadcancer. The views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not reflect the views or opinions of AHN, its subsidiaries, or affiliates. You should not use this information to diagnose or treat a health problem or disease without consulting with a qualified healthcare provider. Please consult your healthcare provider with any questions or concerns you may have regarding your condition.